Martin, welcome on Figuring Out.
Thanks for having me.
Martin Garrix has redefined the sound of EDM. He's not just a DJ, he's a global phenomenon. From dominating the charts with Animals to headlining the biggest festivals on the planet, there's a side of Martin Garrix you've never seen before.
How did you start music?
Tiësto is the reason why I started making music. I guarantee you, without Tiësto, there would not be Martin Garrix. I might not even be alive.
How did Martin Garrix is collaborating with Arijit Singh?
Every single person he greets is super polite. He's one of the nicest, humble people I've ever met, ever worked with.
Is there a side of you which we don't know about?
I like to collect rocks, like crystals. I have a team that helped me with putting the collection together.
Wow. Which one's your favorite mix which you have done?
I think High on Life. I love the message of it.
Do you have like a vision board or something?
In my head, yes.
Yeah.
With everything I do, I visualize how it will work. I remember playing In the Name of Love for the first time, and the whole crowd was just staring at me. They were like, not moving, no energy, and I'm like, oh my God, I made the worst song. And then released it and became my biggest song.
Tell me the dark side of the DJing. Martin, welcome on Figuring Out.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. I'm very inspired by what you do and equally jealous at the same time because
Sorry.
we both are same age, and it's when I look at you, I feel like wow, like just it's incredible.
Thank you.
I've shared a story, okay? So back then when I just got into college, like I'm talking about I think 8-10 years ago. And at that time, you were supposed to do a tour in India. Mm-hmm. You played in Mahalakshmi grounds in the town.
The race course.
The race course. Yeah, that's where you played. So I used to not live in Bombay. And I was in Indore. There, with a bunch of my friends, they used to run a promotion company, like an event promotion company. They used to sell tickets for concerts. Okay. And there was a show in Indore, which was, there were a bunch of local DJs. Then there was, I think, Danik, and there was Rehab. Like these are Amazing. All these people playing, okay? And they used to sell tickets. So they gave me a bunch of tickets to sell as well. And That was my first gig where I started making some money in college, like a side gig. And when I made that money, I used to buy ticket for your show.
Amazing.
At the Mahalakshmi ground.
Thank you so much.
So that's his story. So that's how I started. And today you're here. It's an absolute pleasure. I could have never imagined that I'm going to get you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. I remember those shows so well because I did the shows with Matisse and Satko. And I just remember being like here for the first time. It was very overwhelming in the most beautiful way. Like everybody was so welcoming. So like my first memories from being in India was the warmth and the people were so generous with their time and with their excitement, and it was really I really enjoyed being here, and I still enjoy it.
Okay, tell me about your childhood a little bit. Where were you born? How was your town or a village or a city? What was it? Tell me about the people there. Tell me about what your father used to do, mother used to do. Like, I want to know everything.
Amazing. So I grew up in Amstelveen, which is just outside of Amsterdam. Every single memory I have from childhood is just fun. Like I was doing a lot of sports. I was, and still am, like, I was super adventurous. I wanted to like try everything, and I'm super close with my family. My mother worked in a hospital, and she's a specialist in liver, stomach, and I don't know the English word for it, but
okay.
And my father used to have an auctioning house, specialized in coins and in stamps. My record label is called Stamped Records. Not many people know because of my father.
It came from the father's auction house. Nice.
Yeah, and the logo is a stamp, so it's like a little shout out to my father.
Nice. So that's how you. And then how did you start? Because your father was running an auction house, mother was nurse.
Yeah.
How did you start music then? Like, why was this choice?
They were constantly playing music in the house. My mother played piano, and for them it was also like they found it super important to raise us with instruments. So they let me try all these instruments, and I fell in love with guitar. And my sister, she picked the violin, and then just once a week I would have lessons, and I would have homework. I would learn new songs. I would write my own songs on the guitar. To be honest, I cannot imagine growing up without music, because it's like therapy. And then fast forward, I was playing songs on the guitar, writing songs on the guitar, and then I fell in love with electronic music. And my friend, who passed away, he installed Fruity Loops on my computer at the time, and like I would participate in a DJ competition. He became number 1. I became number 2. Everything we did together, and he was better at it.
Who?
His name is Daryl Gunawan. And like from one day to another, he passed away. He was on the Malaysia Airlines flight that got shot out of the air. But every single thing, especially in the beginning, like I learned from him. Like we would do like our school parties, and then he won the competition. Like we were part of this DJ competition. It was called Kunstbende, and he became number 1, and I became number 2. And the number 1 was allowed to play this festival in the Netherlands, like this huge festival in the Netherlands. He asked me to join him, so we were playing together at this festival. And anyway, so long story short, I had this program on my computer that allowed me to just start messing around and put my guitar melodies in the computer. Then I produced some trance music. I produced hardstyle. And then, I was on these internet forums, met friends that I still am friends with now. Like Julian Jordan was on the forum.
Nice.
Justin Milo, we were on like every single show in the beginning we did together, and he joined me at the last India tour. Justin Milo did all the sets before I went on stage. So it's all like it all grew very or organically. And then also like I love Tiësto. Like I started making electronic music because of him. Like
Tiësto.
Yeah. Fast forward, he became my mentor. So it was really that to me was like a pinch me moment. Like I remember him FaceTiming. Sorry, there wasn't even FaceTime. Skype.
Okay.
He sent me a tweet on Twitter, like, "Hey, I love your song Torrent," and then we released it on Musical Freedom, which was Tiësto's label. And I think I was 15 or 16, and Tiësto was the reason why I started making music. And then I remember he sent me the tweet, and I couldn't sleep the whole night. I was just like, and then we met on Skype, and I remember holding my computer, and I was like shaking. And then he was also one of the first people who I sent Animals to. He was like, "Oh man, this is amazing. Can I play it live yet?" I was like, "Yeah, please try it." And then I would look up videos from him playing Animals, and also my other song Torrent. Like I would scan entire YouTube just looking at videos, and just even having created something that was part of his show was for me already like peak.
I've made it in life.
Yeah, like I was like, this is it. It cannot get any better. I'm happy. Like I have my purpose, and it's part of the Tiësto show. And he also, because I was super young when this all happened. I was 15, 16 when I made Animals.
Yeah.
And I was still in school, and like he really took me under his wing, mentored me, made sure I had the right people around me, warned me for the wrong people. Like he even spoke with my parents, because my parents were like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" Like it's this crazy world that Marty is like head first diving into. And really he was and still is one of my closest friends in the music industry. And he really, I guarantee you, without Tiësto, there would not be Martin Garrix. And I might not even be alive if it wasn't for his guidance and his, like, just, he's always looking out, making sure everything.
Why would you say so? You wouldn't be even alive.
Well, like, it's a crazy world we're in, and he's there when it goes super well, and he's there when it also doesn't go well. Like, it's like a rock. Like, really, I owe him a lot.
But what happened? Like, how did he find you? Because it's not easy thing for someone like Tiësto, he was number one at that time when you were playing, right? And he was already one of the biggest DJs in the world.
Yeah.
He was at the top of his game, thousands of people cheering, ravishing fans. And he would find this kid who's 15-year-old and listen to his song. Like, how did that happen? Because there'll be thousands of people sending him songs too.
Yeah. So the Netherlands is big, but it's at the same time a very small country. And like, I got signed to Spinning Records at the time. And before, like 2 years before, I was producing songs for other people as well. And one of the songs I did was released on Spinning Records under a friend of mine, and it was his song, but I produced it. And then the song did super well. Sander van Doorn ended up like a lot of DJs started playing it. It became this really cool club song. It's called Bazinga.
Okay.
And that's the song that got me into Spinning Records. And then he was like, "Hey, can we create a follow-up?" I was like, "I would love to make a follow-up, but can you please tell the people at Spinning Records that I'm part of this song, you know?" So he was like, yeah, of course. And then he introduced me to the team at Spinning Records. Then they came to my house, my parents' house, because they didn't believe I made my music. They wanted to see me go through the projects, and then I got signed. And then Musical Freedom, which was Tiësto's label, was a sub label from Spinning Records.
Okay.
So they were like, and they knew, of course, how much I love Thijs. So they reached out to him, like, hey, there's this young kid. He goes produce these 2 songs, and this is a bunch of unreleased music from him. And then Tiësto ended up releasing one of the songs on his label, which is called Torrent.
Yeah, I know the Torrent.
And then from there, like the friendship started, and also his guidance. And the whole reason why I started making music was because it was fun and joy. Like, it was just contagious energy and fun.
You're talking about joy, right? And you said Animal happened because of joy. Like, you were just having fun. There was no strategy behind making this kind of song.
I had no idea what I was doing. I remember I made the song, and it got to a point where it was a bit sad. I made Animals after a night of partying. And right after the song became so big, I would go to the same restaurant, go to the same club, try to replicate the night of that I made Animals. Because in my head, I was like, I was super insecure. Like, in my head, I could only make big songs if I had the exact like lead up to. And then at one point, like, my team and my parents and Chester, they were like, "Dude, what are you doing? You're overthinking too much. Just have fun." Like, and then I did Tremor, which became really big, and it was the Tomorrowland. And then for the first time, I felt like, I don't need
Animal again.
No, exactly. Like, I feel like I evolved. I learned from it. And if you always do the same thing that people expect you to do, it's going to get boring. People are going to get bored. They're like, okay, I saw that coming. I'd much rather have people listen and be like, oh my God, I didn't expect this, in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, every single Garrix song with lyrics, I want it to sound good as well on just the guitar or on the piano. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it and like super stripped down. The essence of a song should be just beautiful lyrics, beautiful chords, and it should be able to stand by itself without all the production, without the whole CO2, fireworks, etc. Like a good song is a good song, and I've learned also during COVID and the last few years, especially, I've been also working a lot with non-electronic music artists, and I came to the conclusion that any song you could produce into a rock song, you could produce into an electronic song, you could have an acoustic version of it, as long as the song itself is good.
Is that the filter that you use now? That a song which can be enjoyed in a room, on any instrument, in any scenario, is a song I want to create?
100%.
Is that the filter that you use?
I just want to make timeless songs. I want to create songs that people have memories to. That I want songs to take people back to like how they felt at a certain time, and it goes the other way around as well. I remember exactly how I felt when I wrote each individual song. I know whenever I was sad, I made certain songs. Whenever I was happy, like High on Life, I felt high on life when we were making that song. And then we premiered High on Life at Tomorrowland, released it. It was my last song. And that night we couldn't sleep. And it was Bon and I and Albin. We couldn't sleep, and we had a guitar, and we start. I don't need no sleep because I'm already dreaming. Like, that's the lyric we wrote after Tomorrowland. I have goosebumps talking about it. But that's how we felt in that moment. There was so much. Like, we came off stage and like Tomorrowland. Like, I grew up watching the live streams of Tomorrowland, and then they let me close the main stage on like. Of the weekend, like the last song of the festival, and that was High on Life. And nice. I just remember I was in my bed, and I text the guys. I'm like, I can't sleep. I have so much adrenaline.
That song actually gets that energy out of you as well.
Yeah,
like as a listener, I feel the same thing. And then especially with the visuals of Tomorrowland, that was the first time when I saw the song on YouTube with all those visuals, and then you feel like grooving. You're like, wow, what's going on? So I could just totally imagine what you must have been going through.
Yeah, but every song is like it's like a diary. It's like a chapter of my life.
Do you have like a vision board or something?
In my head, yes.
Yeah.
No, but like also, I definitely think with everything I do, I visualize how it will work in front of an audience,
and then it works out the same way.
Most of the time, not all. I wish every time. I've had moments where I played a song and I was like, "Oh my god!" I remember playing "In the Name of Love" for the first time at Ultra, and the whole crowd was just staring at me. They were like, not moving, no energy, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I made the worst song." And then, super insecure about the song, etc., released it and became my biggest song. So it's very surreal.
Yeah. And because I'm a big believer of manifestation and visualization, like myself, right? And I would do the same thing. Every time I have to give a speech in front of, let's say, 10,000 people or 5,000 people, big crowds, right? I would sit in my room for a week, 3 days, 10 days. I would just visualize, okay, you know what? I'm moving this way and I see this person doing this. I'm going to drop. This is my punchline. They're going to move. This is going to make them cry. This is going to make them laugh.
Yeah.
And I have this image in my head. I don't even have those faces. Those faces are blurred, but I know what they're doing and the way they're reacting. And when I go on stage, most of the time it happens the same way.
Amazing.
You're talking about In the Name of Love, right? The Rexa. You did the song with Baby Rexa. How did that happen?
I did the demo, and the demo was originally sang by a girl called Ilse, and she's incredible. So her voice is, and we did a lot of work afterwards. We wrote Ocean together, and she's, huge shout out to Ilse Huber. She's incredible. And then I met Baby Rexa, played her the song. I was super nervous. And then she recorded it, sounded amazing. And I just remember playing it at Ultra, and then I didn't want to release it. I was like,
but what gave you the confidence to release it even after it tanked in Ultra?
My team just being like, Marty, you're an idiot. It will work. not everything has to immediately work on the dance floor. Some songs people have to like listen to it a few times, get yeah. But for me, I was measuring like if something was successful by crowd response, you know.
Yeah.
And now that's something I put left because people are also listening. They can have a moment to take in, analyze the melodies.
It's an incredible song. Incredible. And then you did Scared to Be Lonely.
With Dua.
Right? With Dua.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What's that story?
That song, I sent it to the label and they were like, oh, there's this girl up and coming, which is crazy because now she's one of the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah.
But we had a meeting with the label and I played them the song and they were like, oh, this could work for this girl called Dua. And then listened to her songs and we're like, oh, that could be a good match. And then
It just happened.
yeah, the song blew up, but I'm really, really, really proud of the song, and it still works every show. Like I can put the filter and the whole crowd just sings along.
Nice. My favorite Martin Garrix song is Gold Skies.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, like it's such an underrated song. I feel like people don't even know about it much.
Yeah.
At least in my circle. And I'm like, you guys are missing out. You guys are missing out.
That's OG. It's like with the guys from Dubs and Sanders.
And for me, it's that music, and at least the verse where the lyrics part come in. For me, that's therapy. It sounds so good.
Amazing.
Okay, talking about all of that, how do you manage your relationships? Because you're always on tour, you're always like working, different countries, different places. How do you have time for personal relationships, for family, girlfriend? I don't know.
With any relationship from a partner or to my parents, I try to separate that from Martin Garrix, like, because everything I do is super public.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have some things private, that because the moment I could never have a public relationship, because I would just be, everybody is gonna have an opinion, everybody's gonna get involved.
True.
And every relationship, it's not always sunshine. Like it goes through phases, you know. And I feel like the more people are involved, the more people have an opinion, the more. For me, I much rather just have people know Martin Garrix, the music and the shows, and then my private life is like private.
But how do you manage to give them time? How do you manage your life balance in some sort?
Trial and error. There's years where I was like, okay, I did too many shows. There's years where I was like, oh, I wish I did more shows. I have too much energy. But no, I was with my parents last week. I'm seeing them in Tokyo, so sometimes they join me to the shows. We just balance. Like I make sure I have enough time for my family, for my friends, for my sister. Enough time to be in the studio, to be creative. Enough time to be traveling, doing shows. And it's all in balance with each other.
Is there a side of you which we don't know about because of your public image?
100%.
What's that side?
I like to collect rocks.
Rocks?
Yeah, like crystals.
Okay. And why is that?
I just think it's so cool. Like any painting, people can repaint. You won't see the difference between the original and the copy, you know? Like rocks is made by nature. It took millions of years to form. Like there's crazy shapes, and like for me it's the purest form of art. It's like a sunset or like a cloud formation. Like you're only gonna see it once, you know, in the exact same way. It's impossible to replicate. So
you buy them? You buy from different places, from exhibitions?
Yeah, I have a team. I take it very serious.
Oh, wow.
I have a team that helped me with putting a collection together.
Wow. You have a full team to actually put like the rarest rocks for you in the world. Yeah.
So they know whenever like certain rocks go on sale, or whenever a museum wants to have another rock. So it's a crazy industry.
How did Martin Garrix, the #1 DJ in the world, is collaborating with the #1 singer in India, Arijit Singh?
I just think like first of all, besides being incredibly genius and talented, he's one of the nicest, humble people I've ever met, ever worked with. Like, I met him in Amsterdam, and I was really, I remember I spoke to my parents after, and I was like, I met this guy, and this really, every single person he greets, he's super polite. Like he said, like, and it's small things. Like he greets the drivers. He's just super appreciative for every single person who he meets, you know. And I really, really, it makes me happy to see someone like Arijit have the success that he has and still being so simple. Like, he has his values on point, like his manners. It's really, and then we started working, and now it's some of the melodies we have. It's some of my favorite melodies, my favorite songs I've ever been part of. And also, I've never ever released a song that is not English. So for me, it's a big step.
Yeah.
And it's cool because getting, like, Martin Garrix is also chord progression and melodies, and now, like, it's my melodies and his melodies, but he does the lyrics, and I wish I could write the lyrics and I could give it some direction, and I told him, like, how the songs made me feel and what I visualized for it, but he ran with it and did the lyrics. And so we met in Amsterdam. Amazing energy. We just did jam sessions. We talk every day, non-stop, like voice notes, singing, brainstorming, ideas for music video, new ideas for, like, we're now focusing on finishing these 4 songs, and in the meantime, we're already thinking, like,
the next thing.
Yeah, but there's so much joy and excitement in the studio and creating these songs.
So you and Coldplay, you haven't made a song together yet?
They play one of my songs in their show, but I'd love to work with them on, like, on an original song. I love Coldplay. In the band, when I was 8, we were already playing Clocks by Coldplay. And their shows just talk about joy. Like, their shows is beautiful. It's for everyone, like, young, old, doesn't matter where you're from. Everybody there is at home, you know, and it's super inclusive show. It's beautiful. And the band is amazing. Chris is incredible, but also the rest of the band. It's just, it's inspiring.
Which is your favorite Coldplay song?
Scientist.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I love that one.
What's
yours?
I love The Scientist too.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to play it, but there's no.
It's funny because I heard The Scientist not from Coldplay and not their original version first. The first time I fell in love with the song was, there was a version which some other artist plays in Suits. Do you know the Suits?
Yeah.
So in Suits, there's an episode, in the end of the episode, they play Scientist. And I heard there for the first time.
Amazing.
And I fell in love with the song.
I love that song. The writing on it's beautiful, the melodies, and it's just, it's timeless.
Yeah. And then you've met, like, collaborated with a bunch of people, right? Ed Sheeran. How did that happen? He's, again, another music prodigy in the world.
Yeah, we did a song. We actually never released it. It's called Rewind, Repeat It. Okay. This is like 2015, I think, 2016, long time ago already. But we're still in touch. We even, actually, I don't want to give people false hope, but we spoke about revisiting the song.
But why didn't you release it?
Long story short, label issues. But I'm fully independent now, which is the best feeling. I have my own record label, Stamped Records, and then per song I can decide if I want to do it through Stamped or license it to a bigger label.
All right. Tamim, let's talk about India a little bit. Okay. As you keep coming here, you've said that you love playing here. It's one of the best countries to play in, right? Why? What's there in India which you absolutely love?
it's just people are so passionate. Like they love music and they love celebrations and like also Holy. I got to experience Holy Festival, and it's just there's so much joy. There's so much. It's beautiful, and everybody's so just excited, proud of their like. It's amazing. I feel very at home away from home.
And you met Rohit Sharma.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What was that feeling?
He's such a nice guy. He's a sweetheart. He told me he loves So Far Away.
Yeah.
And he plays it before he goes to the games, and he gave me a shirt. Rohit was super sweet. Like we met very briefly, but it was a beautiful interaction. And anyway, we were staying at the same hotel.
Okay.
So it was and they were there for a game, and I was there for a show.
And then Ranbir Kapoor showed up at your show.
Yeah.
How?
He came to the show. He surprised the crowd there. The crowd was, I remember they were very surprised. No, it was fun, and it was also very unexpected for the crowd to see him show up there.
Which one's your favorite mix, which you have done?
My favorite song of mine?
Yeah.
I think High on Life. Like it's
because of the goosebumps you got in the end.
Yeah, and like the song is it's I love the message of it. It's like let's make the most out of it. Let's make sure we actually live, you know.
Do you ever get annoyed by music? Because you're like, full time I'm playing for hours in such loud crowd, and then I'm at home, I have to listen to the music again, recreate it, and then work on it. Does it ever get to a point where you're like, no more music for days?
No. I love music.
24/7 you can keep listening to the music.
Yeah. And also I have tinnitus, so it's like everybody should wear earplugs. You don't want to have this. So I love having like music in the background, like so there's not nonstop like a beep.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, it's like 10 mosquitoes, like
full time. Is it common to happen with DJs? Like, is that the thing?
Yeah, a lot of colleagues have it as well, but it's straight up from just being stupid.
Why? What stupidity did you do?
No earplugs. In the beginning, and also like I make very long days in the studio, which is also like not great for the ear. But now I have a sign in my studio, the B meter, and if I go a bit too loud, it's like flashing red lights, so I turn it back down. But anyway, I love music in the background.
Tell me the dark side of the DJing. And the dark side is like, what does it take mentally? Does it toll you? Because you're in different time zones. There's no work-life balance. There is no sleeping schedule.
Yeah.
You're flying from one continent to another, different foods, like it takes a lot on your physical health as well.
Yeah. So I do once a year. I did it 2 weeks ago. I do like 7 days water fast. And then I do all these medical checkups from like heart, liver, arteries, everything. The one thing that I have a bit of a hard time with, which I'm better at now, is just the contrast, because you're on stage and there's like 50,000 people in front of you. And then sometimes like 10 minutes later, I'm in my hotel by myself, just staring at the ceiling. And sometimes there's so much adrenaline from the shows that I'm shaking.
How does your tech rider looks like today? Because now you must be whatever you must be using or actually putting out as a list would be truly world class. What is that? What's a Martin Garrix tech rider?
It's a lot of, actually a big part of it is safety. Okay. Certain barriers, certain exits, certain, but then tech wise, I just have Pioneer. I DJ on Pioneers. And then in my studio, I brought the gear here from Amsterdam, but I have a Tube Tech compressor, Sony mic, and then I love a Prism Lyra sound card. So It's not,
That's it.
Yeah, that's it for vocals.
Okay.
And then
the shows?
for shows, it's a huge list, but most of it is just certain type of lights, certain type of lasers. Like we always get, if people book the Garrix show, like there's a whole team that does all the advancing, make sure that we know exactly what kind of lights are where, and that we can know exactly what rig is going to be there so we can do the show. And it's much more than just CDJs and speakers. Like there's the tech rider it's certain light desks, lasers, type of fireworks, if we can do crowd scanning or not, if there's an airport nearby, so then certain laser looks we cannot do. There's so many things that are being handled in advance, and people only see me on stage, but that's actually the easiest part. The whole lead up, bring up the show. I'd like to have like a dressing room for me, and then a dressing room for family and friends. So I'll be hosting, I'll be like blah, 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 and then I can isolate and just be in the zone and focus.
Interesting. Okay, tell me how did you learn to enter this? Anyone who's listening to you right now and wants to become a DJ and wants to getting started, right? Mm-hmm. First, it actually starts with the name. Why did you not keep a crazy name? You just kept your original name.
My first DJ name was DJ Marty. Okay. And my slogan was DJ Marty, let's go party. There's videos and photos on YouTube from that time. Okay. But no, my biggest advice is just be a sponge, like learn. Like I learned so much from just analyzing and looking up videos, and there's so many tutorials out there. I also learned a lot from collaborating with others. I was on this internet forum for producers where we shared a lot of plugins, and this was 15 years ago. Now there's way more availability, way more accessible videos, tutorials, sound banks, packs. Like if you want to know how a certain sound is created, you can literally YouTube how to make lead synth Waiting for Love, for example. It's there. So I think most important thing is just like with anything, just go for it. Like fully commit. Like don't, let me try this out. Like if you go for it, 100% go for it. And it doesn't matter if it's music, if it's art, if it's anything. If it's sports, I feel like once you don't 100% commit, why even bother?
But a lot of people who commit, they become DJs and then they start playing at the club and they're really passionate about it. But they're always just at the club. They're not able to level up. They're not able to go to maybe a city level or a state level or a country level or a global level. What should they do?
Music production. People don't go to a show to see me DJ because of the transition I do. They go to a show to hear the music that I produce. They go to a show to hear High on Life, etc. So my biggest advice is lock yourself up in the studio, try to find your own sound, make your own edits, mashups, try to find your own twist. And because there's so many DJs out there, you have to find your own sound. You have to find something that makes you stand out. Could be melodies, could be anything. I learned a lot from copying. Like if I love Daft Punk songs, I was going to try and recreate to the finest detail the Daft Punk songs. Same thing for Tiësto. Like I used to recreate his exact songs just to learn. Like, okay, how are these layers built up? How is the low end in balance with the kick drum? Like, my biggest advice is, because of course DJing is fun, nightlife, blah blah blah. Friends can come, but the actual hours is in the studio. Is creation, like just finding your own sound, finding your own twist, and have people come see you DJ because of the songs.
but there are so many DJs, so many music producers producing the sound. How do you stand out? How do you find your own unique sound? It's so difficult. I don't know what's unique anymore, because you can get literally anything and everything on the internet, and there's
100%.
so many people for everything. And still there is somebody who breaks out of this, and then you feel like, wow, this was unique. But until you hear that, you can't actually make out what's unique and what's not. So how can somebody find their own unique sound and style?
I think just experimenting. My first songs, I was literally copying Tiësto, and I was making hardstyle, and then I slowed down the hardstyle stuff, and then I had more aggressive kick drums, and like it's like a journey. Everybody evolves, and
you've collaborated with a bunch of people. How important networking is in your field?
Super important. I was making songs for this friend of mine, and then he introduced me to spinning. So of course network is important. I remember running around at the Amsterdam Dance event, and I was 13, and I had all my songs on a USB, and I would run up to David Guetta when he got out of his car. I was like, please listen to my songs. Or I would go to a festival, I would sneak in, and I would just play it from my phone to I was probably a bit annoying. But no, I think networking is super important with anything.
Okay, I have this one last question, which takes me back to your childhood, about Daryl. Tell me more about him.
So Daryl, everything he did, he was good at. He had the hunger, like we were talking about. Like everything he did, he wanted to know exactly how it worked. Like he had a camera, he took amazing photos from the parties. He would DJ, he would produce music. He installed the software on my computer that I still use to this day. I bought it now. I don't have the illegal version anymore. But everything he did was I looked up to him a lot. Like he was like my example. And he was super skilled as a DJ, like crazy transitions. And then we were part of this talent competition. He became number 1. I became number 2. And the big prize was that he could DJ at this festival. And he asked me to join him to play the festival together.
And you played together?
Yeah.
Were you not jealous?
No.
Oh, you know what? He got number 1. I didn't get it.
No, it was the least. It was anything but jealousy. It was this joy. This. We had a group of friends.
Was he your best friend at that time? Was he like really close friend of yours?
We were really close. Not best friend, but he was part of the group where we were like making music. We were like DJing. We were experimenting. We would be like playing the local bar. We would organize our own parties. We would sell tickets. Like he did the photos from the parties we organized. But yeah, every memory I have from the beginning is with Daryl and with Justin Milo, who I'm still super close with. All we cared about was just having fun, making music, trying, learning new things. Like I would make a song and then I would play it at the school party, or Daryl would make a song and I would play it somewhere. Like we'd feedback each other, we'd learn each other, new tricks. We were on this internet forum where we were learning new things, sharing production tricks. Avicii was on the forum.
Wow.
Laidback Luke was on the forum.
Nice.
It was really like, it was just fun. Like it was, yeah. And then he was on the Malaysia Airlines flight that got shot out of the air.
Do you think if he was there, if he was still here, he would have been number 1?
100%. 100%.
Not you.
No, I'd be number 2. He had the hunger, like that we were talking about earlier. Like everything he did, maybe he wired my brain as well in a way where you just everything you do, I want to do it good, you know? To an obsessive level of making sure everything is good.
Interesting. And why did you leave DJ Marty? Why did you continue with Martin Garrix?
I thought Martin Garrix was a bit of a cooler name than DJ Marty. But
Which it is.
No, and my name, like my real name is Martijn Garritsen. But people have a hard time saying actually Garritsen. I was like, I can do. That's close. I was like Garrix, easier, and a lot of people confuse the IJ with chin, so they say Martin.
Okay,
but it's Martijn.
Martijn
Garritsen. And then my father's name is Gerard. It's my second name, Martijn Gerard Garritsen. I was like, I'll just do Martin Garrix. It's a lot easier.
Okay, because a lot of people have like Tiësto, Armin van Buuren, like Avicii. Everybody has their own name. In fact, I was a DJ for 45 days.
Amazing. What's your DJ name?
It's horrible.
Tell me.
I was a kid. I made it X-Ray.
DJ X-Ray?
Yeah, like AXRAY. So my name is Raj, and Raj became Ray because it was a character which used to come in a series which I used to watch. And because I was really loved Axwell, I'm like, I'm going to steal like Axe from him. And
Amazing. Amazing. I love that.
But I did DJ for like 45 days and then I realized that I'm horrible.
No. You're good.
I probably liked just when you're a kid, right? You just like this guy at the booth. And you feel like, oh, that's the status that you want. Like he controls the party. He's the coolest guy in the club. So you just want to become that. Probably that's why I wanted to become that. Once I started learning, I was like, fuck, this is insane. I don't want to do this anymore.
I generally think DJing is not rocket science. Studio work is where like
magic happens.
Yeah. And of course on stage because people can resonate with the songs, etc. But
do you think you would have become number one if you were born somewhere else?
Yes, I think so. Of course, I was lucky with the Netherlands, and the Netherlands had a huge
culture, exactly,
a huge culture in electronic music, like a lot of Dutch DJs. But I definitely know. Well, it's hard to say, but I definitely know how much hunger and how much of my time, like, I put into learning and growing and how much it excites me. Maybe it would have taken me longer, but it would have definitely not slowed me down.
Perfect. That answers all my questions, and that's it.
Amazing.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
a great note to end on, that you put me in any country, anywhere, I would still shine like a star the way I am. That's a good way to end. Thank you so much for spending so much time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming straight from the airport, taking a shower in the studio, and just being you're incredibly humble.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so glad that I did it.
Thank you.
And life for me has come to a full circle. So it's really an honor.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Putte die af. Ik had hem net in één keer. Oh ja? Ja. Lord. Juist!
What's up once again?
Thanks for having me.
I'm very excited to have you.
Sir,
You know what carrot?
no, tissue.
Okay, stop. Similarly, these are like two pots. Whenever you hit this, make sure that one of them goes.
So I just have to hit it like this.
So I'll something like
Okay. Like this?
yeah. Not bad. Thank you so much for watching this podcast till the end. Please let us know in the comments what all did we do right so that we can improve and keep doing that better, and what all did we do wrong so that we never repeat it. And at the same time, please give us suggestions of who's the next guest that you want to see on the podcast. And don't forget to share this episode with at least one person who will get some insights, because one conversation is enough to give people enough ideas to change their lives. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep figuring out. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.